for people watching this when it posts after. Thank you for joining. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Hey guys. Hi, I'm just a moment earlier. Hi John, how are you? I'm just a little bit early. We're going to wait for people to pop in. Hi Matt, how are you? Good evening. What's the good word? Hello from Virginia Beach. Oh, cool. It was actually, so I'm closer to Richmond. I'm great, Matt. Thank you for asking. Good to see you guys. I'm closer to Richmond. It was really nice out here today. I went to the park for quite a while. It was nice. And all the parks around here, the park that I went to was actually an old Civil War battlefield. So that's pretty cool. And when you go off, there's a huge field with an area that you can, sort of a gravel area, good evening, that you can walk around. And then if you go into, there's a forest and trails. And when you go into the trails, there are actual war trenches where the Civil War soldiers sort of hid behind. They built these trenches and they're still there. Hi, Braxton. Good evening. That is the answer. Truth. Holy propaganda. This will be an interesting topic to talk about. Good evening. Love Richmond. So many cool historical and abandoned places. For sure. The Civil War, yeah, it's all over. I mean, I'm probably, even where I am right now, some of those soldiers probably marched right through where I am right now. It's pretty crazy. I missed you guys too. I took a little bit of a break, and some of that was because of everything that's going on. There was just, with what's happening with Ukraine and Russia, there's so much to absorb and so much that I was learning. And that's what I wanted to lead with today, is all of the propaganda. I have never seen so much propaganda over one topic. It's wild. And I've even been disappointed. Yeah. Is Eva okay? I've even been disappointed with the way that some Republican commentators have covered it, because it's a lot more than Putin bad, Zelensky good. There's way more to it than all of that. I have to take it all in too. Yeah, just a lot. And I don't like to talk about things unless I sort of know what I'm talking about. But we'll get into some of the propaganda and all that stuff in a minute. It's very interesting. And then all the mask mandates are all of a sudden ending, and there's a lot going on. Remember, they claim to want to protect our democracy. Sound familiar? Yes. These people, we'll get into it in a second, but yeah, they're really pushing this crazy narrative. It's never what they portray. Yeah. And I actually, you guys, if you want a really good podcast to watch today, I watched Jimmy Dore, and he's a liberal, but there was a lot of information on his podcast today. He was talking all about Ukraine, the history, when all this started, because like I said, there's a lot more going on than sort of what they're covering in Putin bad, Zelensky good. It's way more nuanced than that. And we'll get into some of it. But yeah, Jimmy Dore today, his podcast was really good. There was a lot of information. So there's that. This is a good about Megyn Kelly is the best. Oh, I've been very much into Megyn Kelly recently. Not in a sexual way, but you know what I mean. I've been watching a lot of Megyn Kelly. I've been watching a lot of Jimmy Dore. And Hunter's deep fangs in Ukraine. Yeah, exactly. There's so much more going on here. Okay, I think we can get started now. A real Sarah and never no fake news. You're great. Oh, thank you. I try my hardest. Megyn Kelly is her own on her own is fantastic. Yes. Okay, let's get started. Propaganda. This was one of those things where You had to be so careful. All right, so we all know Russia is invading Ukraine, right? And if you watch any news outlet, what they're going to tell you, Jimmy Dore spit on Alex Jones for Chank. Oh, I didn't know that. He did have he had a really good show today. So if you get the time to watch his show today, I watched it before getting on here. Really good and a lot of information. But if you're looking, I've been so disappointed in so many commentators. Number one, with all of these fake stories that have been going out there. And number two, with the way that they're covering this. So Russia invaded Ukraine. Okay, we know this. And every single media outlet is Vladimir Zelensky, who's the president of Ukraine. Him, good guy, hero. Putin, bad. And I'm not defending Putin. I think they're all bad. So no matter what I say here, just know it's not a defense of Putin, because what the left-wing media will try to do, if you view this in any nuanced sort of way, which is the proper way that you're supposed to view it, they're going to say, oh, what are you? You're defending Putin? Oh, you like Russia? You're a Putin fanatic? You're a Trumper? That's what they're going to say. And no, that is not what I'm saying. But it's more nuanced than that. The term fake doesn't even come close. Yeah, so let's look at, before we get into it, let's look at some of the stories that turned out to be totally wrong. What was it? The ghost pilot. Yeah, the ghost of Kyiv. This turned out to be fake. Ghost of Kyiv. So this was some sort of ace pilot who was going around, and apparently he shot down 6... No, Eva. I got the spray tonight. The ghost of Kyiv, who apparently shot down... Who apparently shot down all of these pilots in one day. By the way, if you shoot down 6 in a lifetime, you're an ace pilot. So that automatically was just complete BS. And of course that came out to be false. And some of the footage that they were showing people from this was actually from a video game. Oh yeah, and the supermodel who was holding a rifle. So she was this supermodel Ukrainian woman who went out to go fight on the streets of Ukraine, and she was holding this what looked like a big rifle. That turned out to be a toy, an airsoft. What else happened? Oh, Vladimir Zelensky. So he's the president of Ukraine. And by the way, I'm not green screen, LOL. Several of these stories, several of the footage that people had shown turned out to be actual video games. Snake Island never happened. I'm going to get into Snake Island because that's even creepier. So then you had Vladimir Zelensky. He's the president of Ukraine. And apparently this hasn't been refuted. This fact has not been refuted. So it's very possible that he did say this. So the U.S. offered to evacuate Zelensky out of I don't know if it was out of Kyiv or out of Ukraine altogether. Correct me if I'm wrong. The ghost of Kyiv stole my lunch from the break room. The ghost of Kyiv haunts me at night. That's why I'm scared of the dark. Ooh, I am in the dark. Let me know if he's behind me at any point while we're talking. So apparently, Vladimir Zelensky, he turned down their offer to be evacuated. Kyiv. Am I saying it wrong? Kyiv. So he turned down the offer to be evacuated and decided to go fight along with the people on the streets of Kyiv. So all of these pictures came out of him. Kyiv. What? Hi, Glenn. I'm very good. How are you? So all of these pictures came out with him with army gear on, and everyone was sharing these pictures. I actually got sucked into it too. I totally thought it was real. Well, these pictures were from April of 2021. Kyiv. Kyiv. These pictures were from April of 2021. And that's not to say that he's not on the ground fighting. But again, the pictures were fake. But this is exactly what they did in 2014 with the kids in the cages. They used pictures. Did I just say 2014? This is what they did when Trump took office. They used pictures from 2014 because a picture gives you a very, very powerful image. And when you see this image of Vladimir Zelensky fighting in the street, you're like, oh my gosh, what a hero. Oh my gosh, he's such a hero. Look at him go. Look at him fighting. Those were from 2021. Again, that's not saying that he's not fighting on the street, but those pictures were from earlier. Another thing that happened, and this is where it gets a little creepy. So someone brought up Snake Island. So Snake Island is this island, and there's this area right off Ukraine, I believe in the Black Sea. And this is what happened. So apparently there were Ukrainian defenders on Snake Island, and they came across some Russian soldiers who were coming after them, and they told them to F off, and apparently they all died. Well, this was debunked by the Navy, but this is what's really odd about it. It's the person who started this. The Ukrainian defenders of Snake Island, who were all feared dead after their defiant response to threats from Russian warship, were actually alive and well, according to the Ukrainian Navy. All of the soldiers on the tiny island in the Black Sea were thought to have been killed in an attack on the first day of Russia's invasion of Ukraine last Thursday. According to a purported audio exchange, one of the Ukrainian troops had responded to a warning from an approaching Russian vessel to lay down their weapons and face bombing by saying, Russian warship, go F yourself. This is where it gets weird. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said later on Thursday that 13 soldiers on Snake Island had all died heroically by Russian bombardment. But after the Ukrainian border guard said that it had information disputing the deaths, a statement on Monday from the country's Navy suggested that certainly was not the case. So the person that said they were all dead was Zelensky himself, which could have been a mistake, but that just creeps me out a little bit. Zelensky is a globalist put into place by George Zelensky. Thank you, Rust. That actually brings me into another point. Because if you point out the nuance of all of this, people automatically say that you're for Putin. I am not for anyone. I don't like Putin. I don't like Zelensky. I don't trust Putin. I don't trust Zelensky. I also don't trust Biden. I don't trust any of them. I am for the people. And what's creepy about all of this is this propaganda game is being pushed on all of us, and people from both sides are doing it. Even the Daily Wire released a t-shirt. They're selling merch. The Daily Wire is selling merch because apparently when Zelensky turned down the U.S. offer to be evacuated to safety, he said, I need ammunition, not a ride. The Daily Wire started making t-shirts that said, I need ammunition, not a ride, or vice versa, but that's essentially what they were saying, and started selling them. And they're even painting Zelensky as this, or at least Ben Shapiro is painting Zelensky as this hero. And okay, but he's not the perfect hero if you know his past. He's done some pretty terrible things to his people. Some awful things to his people. And again, pointing that out is not saying that Putin is great. I'm not defending Putin. I don't like any of them or all of them. I think they're all corrupt. And I think they all sacrifice their people for their own agendas, whatever that may be. I was checking on my cat. And here's a little bit of the backstory. And you know, what's annoying too is all of a sudden everyone, and of course we should cover Ukraine, and of course we should care about the Ukrainian people. Again, I'm not for any of these corrupt politicians or leaders or presidents or whatever. I am for the people, and it does suck because now Russian people are being censored, just like Americans were being censored when they were dissenting, and pointing that out again is not defending Putin. It is bad that Russia is invading Ukraine, but there's also more to it. But everyone's like, we stand with Ukraine, we stand with Ukraine, we stand with Ukraine. Okay, that's great that you stand with Ukraine, but what about all of the other countries that the U.S. bombs like every day, like all the time? We just did an airstrike on Somalia. Did you all see the Ukrainians are doing to the black people there? I don't know specifically about black people. Exactly. And Yemen, all the time. We commit war crimes all the time. Everyone's so appalled. Oh my gosh, he's committing war crimes. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be covering this and we shouldn't care and we shouldn't care about the Ukrainian people. It's heartbreaking. But this happens all the time. Why are we all picking this one thing? Again, because it's propaganda. And in my opinion, it's again not taking away from what's happening, but it's just really interesting how all this is happening. And now we're all united. We're all standing united in fear and with the Ukrainian people at a very convenient time. And we're all focused on this instead of how terrible our administration is doing at home. Biden's numbers are terrible. The State of the Union is coming up and midterms are coming up. Hi, Zachary. And it's so interesting how they're against, all these people are against authoritarianism, but they had nothing to say about the Canadians and what was happening to them, what Justin Trudeau was doing to them, cutting off their bank accounts, arresting them. Yeah, ask any Democrat. Of course it's Trump's fault. So I saw it on Instagram and I don't know what's going on. So this has been a long time coming, and there are several things that are going into the pot, but one of the things is the expansion of NATO. And NATO has been expanding, and this is something that Russia has been very clear on. We don't want the expansion of NATO, and we don't want it to go into Ukraine and Georgia. And here's the thing about the expansion of NATO that I learned, and I'll read you something really quick first. Let's see. I was there. NATO and the origins of the Ukraine crisis. After the fall of the Soviet Union, I told the Senate that the expansion would lead us to where we are today. Today, as we face an avoidable crisis between the United States and Russia that was predictable, willfully precipitated, but can easily be resolved by the application of common sense. But how did we get to this point? Allow me, as someone who participated in the negotiations that ended the Cold War, to bring some history to bear into the current crisis. We are being told each day that war may be imminent in Ukraine. Russian troops, we are told, are amassing at Ukraine's borders and could attack at any time. American citizens are being advised to leave Ukraine, and dependents of the American embassy staff are being evacuated. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian president has advised against panic and made clear that he does not consider a Russian invasion imminent. Vladimir Putin has denied that he has any intention of invading Ukraine. His demand is that the process of adding new members to NATO cease and that Russia has assurance that Ukraine and Georgia will never be members. President Biden has refused to give such assurance, but has made clear his willingness to continue discussing questions of strategic stability in Europe. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian government has made clear it has no intention of implementing the agreement reached in 2015 for reuniting the Donbas, excuse me if I'm saying that wrong, provinces into Ukraine and large degree of local autonomy. An agreement with Russia, France, and Germany that the United States endorsed. Was this crisis avoidable? In short, yes. Was this crisis predictable? Absolutely. NATO expansion was the most profound strategic blunder made since the end of the Cold War in 1997. When the question of adding more NATO members arose, I asked to testify before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. In my introductory remarks, I made the following statement. I consider the administration's recommendation to take new members into NATO at this time misguided. If it should be approved by the United States Senate, it may well go down in history as the most profound strategic blunder made since the end of the Cold War. Far from improving security of the United States, its allies, and the nations that wish to enter the alliance, it could well encourage a chain of events that could produce the most serious security threat to this nation since the Soviet Union collapsed. Indeed, our nuclear arsenals were capable of ending the possibility of civilization on Earth. The plan to increase the membership of NATO fails to take into account the real international situation following the end of the Cold War and proceeds in accord to the logic that made sense only during the Cold War. The division of Europe ended before there was any thought of taking new members into NATO. No one is threatening to redivide Europe. It is therefore absurd to claim, as some have, that it is necessary to take new members into NATO to avoid a future division of Europe. If NATO is to be a principal instrument for unifying the continent, then logically, the only way it could do so is by expanding to include all European countries. But that does not appear to be the aim of the administration, and even if it is, the way to reach is not by admitting new members piecemeal. So what's interesting to know about NATO is to be in NATO, you have to have a certain capacity of ammo and a certain number in your military. So you have to add, which costs money. And where do they buy it from? They buy it from the West. Hello, military, or to me, I think Ukraine will end up getting split up between East and Western Ukraine like we had East and Western Germany. That's a huge possibility. But here you have sort of a military industrial complex. And this was what Vladimir Putin did not want. He didn't want them entering NATO. The biggest threat to humanity is the left. I totally agree. But you see, he said at the end of his first statement before the Senate that he was afraid of nuclear warfare. And what happened today? Putin declares a nuclear alert and Biden seeks de-escalation. Now, I'm saying all this and I don't want to, I don't think that anyone should be in fear of anything. And because I personally believe that in some aspect of this, there's so much fear mongering that this is, have you seen how great, what? I didn't see that. Putin provoked NATO expansion by saying he was going to revive the Soviet Union. Obama putting biolabs up against Russia. Oh, excuse me, he declared that Sunday. He declared, this was Sunday that he did this. When Vladimir Putin declared Sunday that he was putting his nuclear forces into special combat readiness, a heightened alert system reminiscent of the most dangerous moments of the Cold War, President Biden and his aides had a choice. They could match the move to put American forces on DEFCON 3, known to moviegoers of that moment when Air Force rolls out bombers and nuclear silos and submarines are put on high alert. So we are on high alert right now. Watch both hands. But that's okay. It's a minor incursion. Well, you have a lot of people saying, too, they're like, this would have never happened under Trump. Let me know what you think. The DEFCON level 2, look into it. Oh, I will. Ukraine and Russia had talks today. That is true. So Ukraine and Russia did have peace talks today in Belarus, and hopefully those went good. To me, I see that as a good sign. I hope it went well. There will be a nuke scare event. Get your popcorn. But it is strange to me how this is being played out, especially by the left, like it's some sort of movie. And Zelensky is this hot movie star. I literally saw something today that was like, if you're a woman, you can't tell me that you don't have a crush on Zelensky. Don't say minor incursion. You'll get Biden excited. Wag the dog. No, I don't have a crush. I don't think he's a great person either. Do I think it's commendable that he's defending his country if that is what he's doing? Absolutely. But I just think it's so weird how people just jump on all of these narratives right off the bat without knowing everything. Here's Jen Psaki, by the way. So Jen Psaki was asked, I'm glad that so many people recognize this BS. Oh yeah. So here's Jen Psaki. So she was asked, because of all of this, Biden said that our gas prices are probably going to increase again because we get a decent amount of gas from Russia. And because of all of this, our gas prices are probably going to increase even more. And we are told that that is the price that you pay for democracy, for freedom. We all have to sacrifice, right, for freedom, even though none of us wanted this to happen. Russians didn't want this to happen. Ukrainians didn't want this to happen. Nobody wanted this to happen. So why are we paying for screw-ups from all of these people? Okay, so because of all of this happening and gas prices are thought to go up even more, Republicans have, and a lot of people actually have been pushing for Biden to restart the Keystone XL pipeline so we can be more energy independent, so we can avoid having our gas prices go up. So Jen Psaki over the weekend was on ABC and she was asked about this. She was asked, well, what do you think about Republicans calling on restarting the XL pipeline? And this is what she said. Oops.
On oil leases, what this actually justifies, in President Biden's view, is the fact that we need to reduce our dependence on foreign oil, on oil in general, and we need to look at other ways of having energy in our country and others. One of the interesting things, George, we've seen over the last week or so is that a number of European countries are recognizing they need to reduce their own reliance on Russian oil.
So there you go, you guys. We need to get away. So they will use this, again, as another excuse. You see how expensive it is? We need to get away from oil. But here's the flub in her logic. Okay, let's just say for a second. Let's go with the logic that we all want to go green. And of course, we all know how green energy works and wind turbines and solar panels and all that stuff. Okay, I'm with you there. I know what you're going to say, but let's just go with her logic for a second so I can prove this point. Let's say that we all want to go full Green New Deal. Even though we don't, we're just playing with this logic. We all want to go full Green New Deal, full electric cars, wind turbine, like all of it, right? Let's just say that we're all on the same page there. Do you know how long it's going to take to get there? It's going to take a very long time to go full green, even if we all wanted that. So wouldn't it make sense, even if we're like, yeah, we want to go full green, Jen. We want to get off oil completely and use different greener energy sources. Okay? Let's say we're all there. It would take so long to do that. So even if that's what we wanted, wouldn't it make sense that in the meantime, we use oil from our own backyard so we're not paying astronomical prices at the gas pump, and so we're not under the strong arm of other countries? Maybe also so in other countries other than Europe, we're not like funding terrorists. Wouldn't that make a lot more sense? So that clearly that's not what this is about, but they're going to use it to push their green agenda and to keep oil in other countries and not in our backyard. And it doesn't take a rocket science to know that if you get it from your own backyard, it's going to be cheaper and better for America just in general. You would have made an outstanding commissioner. We'll be full dystopian mode. What about human trafficking? Well, yeah, I mean, Jen doesn't seem to know our military equipment don't work and wind and solar and oil need gas. Exactly. And can you imagine having a strong military that's green? Someone mentioned human trafficking. I personally don't know how that pertains to oil, so maybe I need to research that more. But if we are talking about trafficking, the Biden administration is basically aiding and abetting trafficking on our southern border like crazy. So I do know that in regards to trafficking, which trafficking is also the largest criminal industry. The oil industry is no cleaner than Russia's too. Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. It's no cleaner if we get it out of Russia, and we're not going to be stopping that anytime soon. Like anyone listens to Peppermint Patty. And then, the U.S. military will be in pink camo and Uggs. At least their feet will be warm. And then here's Kamala today. Psaki is not doing the gingers any favors. No. And then here's Kamala today. This is who we go send to speak to foreign leaders. No wonder people think we're weak. And hold on, I might have to spray my Eva. Eva? Okay, she's good right now. Backtrack, Psaki. And somebody said, I think I saw this on Twitter somewhere. Somebody said, Eva abuse. Somebody said that, I mean, if the risk outweighed the benefit to invading Ukraine, Putin would not have invaded Ukraine. So you have to think about it like that too. Panic at the Disco. Biden still refuses to open the U.S. oil pipelines to lower the prices. Exactly. That's why Republicans have been calling on him to restart the Keystone XL pipeline. But they won't do it. And they're using the excuse of green energy. And they're also using the excuse, we have to forget these evil people. Yes. Okay, so this is Kamala Harris today. This is who they send to speak with foreign leaders. In this case, they got what they asked. She's so funny and crazy, you guys. She's so ridiculous and witty.
Because as we all know, elections matter. And when folks vote, they order what they want. And in this case, they got what they asked for. I went off script a little bit.
She is ridiculous, you guys. So funny. That's who goes to meet with foreign leaders. That's who. Ukraine today applied for EU membership. I saw that. Ukraine is evil. They have biolabs. Kamala is every wine aunt hopped on Chardonnay at a kid's birthday party. Wasn't Kamala? Yes, she was supposed to go and talk peace. Apparently that didn't go well. We actually didn't hear much about that. I'm funny and witty. Exactly. I'm funny and witty. I'm quirky. I'm charming. Kamala. So stay tuned. Don't tell Fauci about those labs. Eva? No. Ha. Wow, she is scary. Kamala is a pick-me girl. Please like me. Yes, she's a... No, it was rude what Eva just did. That was rude. Kamala's a pick-me girl. She's the adult version of a pick-me girl. Who would have made a better VP? Anyone other... That's not even a question. Anyone would make a better VP than Kamala Harris. Eva's full name is Eva Maria Sophia Sansoni. So is Hillary. Ugh. Yeah, yes. Hello, it has been a minute. I'm glad you're here. Now, it's also interesting, too, because everyone is lifting their mask mandates. So the White House is dropping their mask mandate. They just announced this today, conveniently right before the State of the Union. California, Washington, and Oregon are lifting their school mask mandates conveniently before midterms. But I'm glad that they are. And here's Biden today. Tell me what you think of this, because Ukraine should not be in NATO and EU, but we still can't keep our eye off Russia. I think that's a good take. I didn't see the rest of what you said. No, I totally agree with you. He's saying that Ukraine shouldn't be in NATO or the EU, but we also shouldn't take our eyes off Russia. And this is what bothers me about people. People are so one-sided. Two things can be true at once, right? And that's what really bothers me, because, and I'm seeing a lot of liberals. People were even shaming Tulsi Gabbard, because Tulsi Gabbard made a point that, if Biden would have just listened to Putin's concerns over, or negotiated somehow, or just gave credibility to Putin's concerns about Ukraine joining NATO, maybe we could have avoided this. And because she made that point, people, all these liberals, like, look at her, she's a traitor, she loves Putin, and all of this stuff. No, two things can be true at once. And that was a wonderful thing about Donald Trump. He knew how to negotiate. And so many people, oh, Donald Trump loves Putin because they're two dictators and they're like, no. But he knows that whether you like Putin or you don't, or you think he's evil or you don't, you still have to do business with him. The same with Kim Jong-un and North Korea when Trump went over and visited. You still have to do business. You still have to negotiate with these people. But just shutting people down, that will piss them off too. Not saying that Trump is totally innocent, because I was reading an article that went even further. I loved Tulsi's speech. I watched it 3 times. Yeah. But this is what people don't understand. Two things can be true at once. They did the same thing with Trump again. They recreated the whole good people on both sides Charlottesville thing again with him when he was talking about Russia and Ukraine. He was saying what's happening is really sad and really bad with Russia invading Ukraine, and he made it clear it's bad what's happening. But how Putin did it was he's not saying he was agreeing with it. He just said it was smart. Again, you can acknowledge something but not agree with it. Two things can be true at once. But they took that one little clip of him and played it everywhere and are using it again to Orange Man bad all over. They are none woke neo-Marxists. Tulsi Gabbard is a patriotic Democrat. Is that an oxymoron? Okay, so listen, now I'm just jumping. Listen to Biden today. Just let me know what you think. I found this clip literally right before I started the live, but this is Biden. And I think we have a precursor to the State of the Union address.
Tax cuts to eliminate, and the estimate is that we've cut black poverty by over 30%. We reduced child poverty by more than 50% in the black community. American Rescue Plan also included historic funding that allows cities and states to invest in community violence intervention programs and keep neighborhoods safe. Look, you're critical in getting the infrastructure law passed, a bipartisan bill that's going to do so much. It's going to replace decades of disinvestment in the United States of America. a commitment to reconnecting communities and people and job opportunities. So much with the early investments in highways and interstate, they cut neighborhoods in half. They divided things. We can put it back together again.
Is it just me, or I thought we had record high inflation right now? And did he just say that communities are safer? I had a runny nose and tested positive for a runny nose. I think this is I also think for the State of the Union, we can expect Biden to take credit for ending COVID. How much you want to bet? Biden, what about Joe Brogan and the poor boys? That was pretty funny. Did anyone see, this was actually, it was funny, but it was a really good point. This Joe Rogan clip was going viral of him calling out Bill Gates and Bill Gates's man boobs. And Joe Rogan was saying, why are we taking health advice from this person? Why is this person trying to get us to go completely meatless? Should we be listening to someone who looks like him? He is clearly unhealthy. The guy, and go find a picture of Bill Gates. He has a belly and man boobs, and his skin is a weird, off, pale color. He doesn't look healthy. Why would we ever listen to him for health advice? Because he's medical doctor Bill Gates. I can't even watch him. There's something just really creepy about him. I don't listen to soft men ever. No, you shouldn't. Bill Gates is made of 90% soy. He has a pasty complexion. But some people they have that porcelain complexion, but his is a pasty off complexion. Remember when Whoopi Goldberg thought Joe Biden was a medical doctor? Somebody said, Juan, Putin did something great. He got rid of COVID. Right, but it's a new crisis. It's a new crisis, and as we heard Jen Psaki say earlier, it's just proof that we need to go full green. Gates might be a neo-Marxist pander. Okay, this is kind of creepy too. Here, I'll play this for you. So this was going around. Let me know what you think of it. This is Fox News. This is a Ukrainian parliament member, and she talks about fighting for the new world order, which was kind of strange. So here it is. I'll let you listen to it.
For the rest of us that aren't Ukrainians, I think the world, quite frankly, Kira, is surprised by the will of the Ukrainian people to stand up and fight. Are you?
Well, I'm not surprised. We have been fighting Putin for the last 8 years, and we had 3 revolutions in our country when we did not agree with what was going on with the direction of where we're moving in. But right now, it's a critical time because we know that we not only fight for Ukraine, we fight for this new world order for the democratic countries. We knew that we are the shield for the Europe.
Thoughts? Fighting for the new world order. What the heck does that mean? Kind of stuff where people talk about everyone being on the same page and globalization. That's the type of stuff I don't like to hear. What are you talking about? And then Jen Psaki is saying, oh, yes, this is the perfect time to go full Green New Deal. I'm rooting for Ukrainians, but it's only been less than a week. I hope it's not just a fluke. For sure. I'm always for the people. You know what's interesting? The news is being dominated by Ukraine, not Putin. Oh, thank you, Juan. It's all political dropping. The mandates, they all suck. Galencia is an actor and you're awesome, Sarah. Thank you so much for that donation, Juan. I appreciate that. I smell a new world odor. And no one is saying that these things are not real, but I think that the governments definitely use these things to implement what they want and to make us on board with it, to make us be on board with it. But I'm always for the people. And I do know, and I was reading somewhere that also like 90% of Russians, the Russian citizens, don't want a war. Ukrainian people don't want the war. And I always root for people. Of course, I'm rooting for Ukraine. And I don't think the U.S. should get involved. I don't want to see war. I don't want to see young men and women die because of all of these just corrupt politicians. I hate to see it. I don't want to see it. There is I don't know if you guys know, I know some of you don't like her, but if you know who Karlin Borisenko is, she's a commentator. She has a YouTube channel. She goes live a lot as well. And her husband is Ukrainian and he still has family in Ukraine. And she even said it too. She's like, I love my husband and his family and I don't think the U.S. should get involved. I don't think we should go to war with anyone. I think that we should sit this one out. Maybe provide arms if you want to provide arms. Ukraine is corrupt. Yeah, I'll say it again. I don't trust Putin. I don't trust Zelensky. I don't trust Biden. I trust none of them. I wish Putin would just let the Russians speak podcast. He keeps arresting them. Yeah, but you know what's really scary now? Tech companies over here are censoring Russian citizens. And that's where this gets even more creepy. Why are they doing that? Russia is not bad. I don't think Russia is bad at all. I don't think the people in Russia are bad. Again, I don't like Putin. I don't like Zelensky. I don't like Biden. I don't like any of them. I think they all suck. But that's not talking bad about Ukraine. That's not talking bad about Russia. And that's not talking bad about America. I love America. I don't like Biden. I don't like the people who are running America right now, but I love America. I live close to an airport, and sometimes when a plane is landing, it sounds like an earthquake. I think that Biden should send Hunter to Ukraine to take a bribe from him again. Did Putin attack from a place of strength or weakness? Everything is fake. It's so hard right now to know what to believe. That's how it feels. It feels like everything is fake. It's so hard to know what to believe. What about Elon Musk launching Starlink to give Ukrainians internet access? I think that's awesome. And what I think is even more awesome is somebody tweeted that. So somebody tweeted, I don't know who it was, they tweeted at Elon Musk on Twitter to please put Starlink over Ukraine, and he did it. And I think that's pretty cool. Braxton believes D's nuts. Christy Noam says, make America energy independent again. Elon Musk is a walking middle finger. I love that guy. I do too. I love anyone that goes against the grain, anyone that's not afraid to speak their mind, even if I don't agree with them sometimes. Yeah, we are funding the invasion of Ukraine by not being energy independent. It makes no sense why we aren't at this point, but they are going to gaslight you to believe that they're doing it for the greater good. Someone made a meme. If 10,000 Russians crossing the Ukraine border is an invasion, then why isn't the 2 million people crossing the southern border not called an invasion? Hello. Did you hear the rumor that Russian soldiers were on Tinder looking for Ukrainian girls? Man, I hope that's true. I did hear that. And I also heard that, I don't know if this is true. It kind of sounds made up, but I agree with you. I hope it's true. But so, yeah, so these Russian soldiers were allegedly on Tinder, and then you had Ukrainian soldiers or Ukrainian fighters that were posing as women to get like information from them. I don't know if that's true, but it'd be really awesome if it was true. The CDC says we're supposed to wear a mask and social distance if we get nuked. I saw that. Was that the CDC though? So there were recommendations, you guys, that if we get nuked, we need to social This is real, by the way. What you just said is real. If we get nuked, you guys, we have to social distance 6 feet and wear masks. Yeah, it's real. But I didn't know, was that the CDC? I thought Eagle was no. That's I saw that somewhere. Let's see. Hold on. Let's look it up. It's FEMA. Okay, it wasn't the CDC, it was FEMA. Okay, let's prepare ourselves. I knew I saw that somewhere, but I didn't think it was the CDC. So FEMA's okay, on Sunday, Based Politics' Brad Palumbo reported that the Federal Emergency Management's government webpage for nuclear explosions has been updated to encourage people to mask and socially distance should they be hunkering in a bunker with members outside of their own households. Should one hear a warning of an imminent nuclear attack, FEMA's website encourages people to shelter inside the nearest building, preferably one made with brick or concrete and as far away from the windows as possible. When you have reached a safe place, try to maintain a distance of at least 6 feet between yourself and the people who are not a part of your household. If possible, wear a mask if you're sheltering with people who are not a part of your household. Why? Is it because of COVID? Or is it because... Why is it always 6 feet? Anywho. Hunger bunkers. Is that what I said? 6 feet is the 6 is the number, man. I social distance from liberals. That's a good idea because viruses can't travel 73 inches. Well, didn't they change it to 3 feet? Didn't they say 6 feet actually didn't make any sense? It's 3 feet? I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. I know why 6 feet I only have 2. The math works. They took Chernobyl over the weekend. Six feet works 70% of the time. Oh wait, I didn't see the rest of what you said. When you see the white flash of light, put your mask on. Good advice. Biden told Zelensky, don't jump, man. I ended up getting it despite taking precautions. Oh, COVID? I think I might have had Omicron. I'm not sure. I think I did. It wasn't bad. I was just very tired. That was probably the worst of it. Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire says they really just dropped all the COVID panic all at once as soon as they had Russia to replace it with. I mean, it's not even subtle. I don't know if you're asking me if I got tested, but I didn't. Because my symptoms weren't that bad. So I was like, I'll just write it out and stay home. I don't think you were talking to me. So if you weren't, I apologize for inserting myself. Yeah, Sonic, I had the same thing. I wasn't freezing, but I was just tired, dehydrated, and just yeah, I had a lot of muscle soreness. That was probably the worst of it. I had a cough in the mornings, but that was it. I didn't have a runny nose. I wasn't sneezing or anything. Yeah, I had a bit of an itchy sore throat and a cough in the mornings, but at night it was gone. It was really just in the morning after I woke up, and I was just really tired and sore all day. So I just stayed home. Everyone who has COVID, don't forget you got all your 15 boosters? Did you get them? Let's see those Band-Aids. You weren't freezing? I wasn't freezing. Well, I'm in Virginia right now. Actually, I'm going to Los Angeles in a week. I'll be there for 2 weeks. Don't worry, I'm staying at a beach area. It's a nice little quiet part of Los Angeles. And I will be signing the recall George Gascon. That's the super progressive DA that we always talk about on this channel. So I will be signing, because I'm a registered voter in Los Angeles. I'm pouring water into my cup. I will be signing it. And good news about that is there is a mayoral candidate who is running in 2022, and he's a billionaire. He just donated a lot of money to the recall. My boyfriend just signed it, and Chad Pergram is the best congressional correspondent news today. I'll have to check that out. I haven't heard about that. A doctor at CPAC said, CPAC. CPAC. Anyway, so my boyfriend, oh yeah, and I'm so excited because right before I go, Los Angeles just dropped their indoor mask mandate. They still had an indoor mask mandate, and now it's done. I cannot even tell you the last time I wore a mask. I guess I will have to wear one on a plane. LA sucks, true story. Well, at least I'll be staying in a beach area, so I won't be like I'll be in the better, more quiet part of LA. Yeah. Oh, and New York is ending statewide mask mandate. Very convenient timing. I think it's in, I want to say it's March 7th that they're dropping the indoor mask mandate. But yeah, I don't know. Would you live anywhere in California again? For sure. I love that state. I mean, I know, and that's one of the reasons I talk about it so much and I criticize it so much is because I do love this state. It's a beautiful state. You have the mountains, you have the redwoods, the Sequoia National Park, you have Yosemite, you have the beach, you have the desert. I mean, it's a beautiful state. It really, really is. And when you're outside of LA, the people are really awesome. It gets a bad rap because of San Francisco and LA, and clearly it has terrible leadership, which has just ruined it completely. But that's why I criticize it so much, is because I love it and I want it to be better. The water looks nice, Catalina. I actually have not been to Catalina. That's on my bucket list, and I want to go while I'm back. I've never been there. It's Catalina is a beautiful island. Look it up. It some of parts of that island remind me of Europe. Oh yeah, and that's an anti-gun safe haven. Go snorkeling at the casino. Oh, you can do that? Catalina is a tourist trap, but very nice. I know, it's just so beautiful. That's probably why I haven't been, because it's very touristy, but it's still beautiful. Have you ever watched RT News? Yes. I have. I like it. LA sucks, but I'm Ventura County. Oh, okay. There are some wonderful parts of California, but I will say when I was out getting signatures to recall Gavin Newsom, and I did that right in the middle of West Hollywood, and I met some really, really awesome people. There are a lot of people in LA that are awake. It's just unfortunate that they are not the majority. But what I think that this whole George Gascon thing, I think it is really waking people up. There was even a huge spread in LA Magazine. Where is this guy? There was a huge spread in LA Magazine about them, and LA Magazine is super duper duper lefty. RT is KBG? Wait, what? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Hold on, I'm looking it up right now. RT News? They're KBG? I swear I've watched them before and I like them. Did I say KBG wrong? Nothing can stop. Oh gosh. No, they have the little green. Russian or RT News is KGB. Why do I always say KBG? And just as bad as our own neo-Marxists. Oh, I didn't know that. They're the RT with the green little symbol around them. Does California have this singing raisins? I hope they're somewhere. RT pushes critical race theory and history and other crap. Oh. Oh, now Gaston is the dude of Beauty and the Beast. Fox News is more honest compared to ABC, CBS, and CNN. I agree. RT pushes CRT. They called the Queen a symbol of white. Oh. I swear to you, though, I have watched them before. Maybe I just didn't watch anything like that. Let's see. I'm looking at some of their... See, here's some of their stories. Evacuees arrive in Russia. Ukrainian military intensifies in artillery fire at residential areas. Ukraine threatens to go nuclear. Fighting is ferocious. Huh. Interesting. Well, good to know. They hide things, but Putin owns RT. Oh, good to know. RT is actually more balanced than CNN and MSNBC. I must have watched something just... Because I've watched them a few times and I've liked them, but I must have been watching something that was super middle of the road. Look up Ukraine shelling the Donbass. Am I saying that right? Okay, I'll look that up. Whoa, I see my face. I'm sorry. I just went on YouTube and I just saw my face. My face popped up. It's very strange. Yeah, I don't know what these people are saying about... Oh. I don't know. I don't think I've watched them recently, but whatever I did watch, it must have been... Okay, so... Ukraine shelling... Okay, I'm looking at routers. Oh, Frank, thank you so much. Frank said, God bless. Thank you very much, Frank. Russian shelling in East Ukraine's, they're saying it differently, kills 19 civilians. February 26th, Russian shelling killed 19 civilians and injured 73 more on Saturday. And so they're saying it differently in I can't pronounce that. I'm so sorry. Region in eastern Ukraine. The Interfax news agency reported On February 26, as a result of Russian shelling, 19 civilians were killed, 73 people were injured. That's all it says. It's really sad. They're spelling it Donetsk. No, Ukraine was shelling. Oh, this was something. Jeez. See, this is so hard. Okay, let's fix this. That was 2 days ago. That article I read you was from 2 days ago. Wait, okay. Here it is. Ukraine continues to shell residential areas. That was weird. No, you're saying it's old, but that article was 2 days ago. But this one is what you're saying. This one, it says the Russian or the Ukrainians were shelling, but it's just not loading. Routers, is that civilians? To be honest, Russian invasion of Ukraine is the strangest invasion of a country I've seen in my lifetime. It is strange, and it's strange. I hope the war ends soon. No, I really hope it does too. And honestly, I'm always optimistic. I hope the peace talks go well. I don't know if that's an innocent thing to say. This darn thing isn't loading. Iraq was a lie. I hope it ends too. I don't like war. I don't like any of it because at the end of the day, it's like brave soldiers and innocent civilians that pay the ultimate price. And that is what breaks my heart big time. I don't like it. Someone said, all I know is that I'm looking into buying a bunker. Whoa! So tonight on Timcast, Lauren Southern is on, which I really like Lauren Southern. I'm going to rewatch it again after this is over. So I'm seeing on Twitter that he got swatted again. This is the third time that Tim Pool has gotten swatted while doing his show. That's really wild. I'm not buying a bunker, but I'm definitely buying more guns. Oh yeah, and then all of a sudden, all the lefties were pro Second Amendment. They were like, yes, Ukraine. I did think that was pretty cool how the Ukrainians were arming their citizens and handed out, the last time I checked, they handed out around 10,000 guns. But did you read today that Zelensky said that criminals with war backgrounds, they're going to release them from prison and put them in high impact areas? What do you guys think about that? Tim needs to get security there. He needs to get security and he should probably move. The Hippocrat Party. Hypocrites. I'm buying spray paint to mark my bunker every 6 feet. You better, otherwise it's not safe. I still love the images of when I don't love the images, obviously. I hate them. Democlancrats. Defiant L is killing it lately. Defiant L's, that's a Twitter account. And they got banned for a little bit. So I'm glad they're back. Fuel tankers. Someone is trying to cancel Tim Pool. Yeah. But Lauren Southern, I really like her, so I wanted to watch that episode. I'll probably watch it after this. Most of the news coming out of Ukraine is fake news. That's why it is so hard to know what's actually going on. Oh, one of my favorite I cannot remember who said this, but this was on Twitter, somebody put a picture of Biden up and said, this is what you get when you mail order a president. Wasn't that good? I really liked that. Exactly, Braxton. So Braxton just said, it's funny how the left support Ukrainian citizens arming up, but they don't support the US citizens taking arms. That is how they are, because you guys, they don't actually care. It's the same with the BLM protests and riots. They got so upset when police tried to control, or when police went hard on the protesters, but they didn't say a thing about when they did that in Canada. They don't like Americans to be armed, but you can be armed if you're Ukrainian. They don't want Americans to be nationalists, but they think being a nationalist in Ukraine is totally good and appropriate. They are hypocrites because they don't care. They don't actually have morals. It's all about power, and it's all about fulfilling their ideology or their narrative. It's so funny how hypocritical they are. And the same with borders. They'll take our border patrol agents and send them to Ukraine. They can defend their border. They deserve to have sovereignty, yet we don't deserve to have it. That is so beyond messed up. Whoa. So, I don't know if you guys follow the Quartering. He's not totally political. He delves into politics sometimes, but he has mostly, he also does commentary on, entertainment and gaming and stuff like that, like movies and gaming. So I guarantee you he's serious too. He just tweeted, I am offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest of the person/group behind the swatting of Tim Pool. The Quartering at Gmail. Identity will be kept anonymous. Wow, this is a big deal. And that can be really dangerous. Amanda Milius. Ooh, who is that? I don't know who that is. In Afghanistan, too. $10,000. At some point, it should be safe for Tim, though. I mean, the cops are constantly... That's true. They're probably again... Somebody just said it should actually be safe at this point. He's offering $10,000. Somebody said it should be safe for Tim at this point because the cops probably know him by now. Yeah, exactly. They're here we go again, if it's the same group. But apparently, he lives in a really tight-knit kind of small area, and it's really pissing the neighbors off, too, that this keeps happening. The ghost of Kyiv swatted Tim. Give me my money. Representative Rick Allen. I don't know what he represents. Science could also be after him for, falsy. I wonder who's swatting him, though. Any theories? Well, he did have a theory at first, and it's not saying who is doing it, but he had a feeling why it was happening. And it happened right after he had Marjorie Taylor Greene on. And she's a pretty polarizing, like whether you love her or not, she's a very polarizing politician and has a lot of haters. So he was thinking maybe it was because of her, but then it happened 2 more times after that. And someone said, can we just call Diane Warwick? George Floyd is swatting Tim. All right, you all. Well, I'm going to get off here in just a minute. I think we've been 81 minutes now. The Liberal Information Order. Look it up. Zelensky is a comedian. Is that qualification to run a country? Yeah, he was an actor. It looked like he was like in some kind of boy dance band situation. I don't know. Look it up. But okay, that's all I have. Thank you very much, you all. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. Someone come play Rust with me. All right, I'll see you all later. Have a good night. It's been fun. Good night. Bye. Yes, like the video if you watched. All right, bye you all. Have a good night. I can't turn it off. Oh, there we go.